GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the Organ Donation Legislation 2007.
The sad reality is that today our democracy as a country is threatened.
Words of affirmation or love language comes to edge us.
When this bill is passed, more lives will be saved, and the financial
I want you so bad, Alpha-Cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, Alpha-Cracker. I want you so bad, Alpha-Cracker.
Don't me call one casa.
Have a goodness rich in milk and butter. In Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers. Simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sweetheart, be mindful of your health. Dear products Nadia Makeup, I welcome you to Sigma Health and Beauty. You can call us the Beauty Embassy. We pursue beauty more revealed with quality makeup products. There is only one place. The Sigma Health and Beauty 2022 Ghana Makeup Awards Beauty Retail Business of the Year. Of course, we are the defending champions. World-class makeup brands and Kwanyet on, you name it. Maybelline, Dark and Lovely, House of Tara, and many more. Your professionalism in the beauty industry is unmatchable. Bramian the proper way of applying our products. Sigma Health and Beauty, Yewa Accra, Makola, Georgina Stores, and Rollins Park, Gate 4. Fryer in 0248 138 596 and 0201 408 186. Or visit our online shop at www.beautyavenuegh.com. Sigma, your beauty, our joy.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment.
Wow.
Enjoy the tasty Blackberry Twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy. Oh.
Blackberry Twist cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
Auntie, Patriotic Party.
Patriotic.
Patriotic, Mami who din?
Your friend me Mavis, Asanti.
Now, Patriotic, would you may say how many years?
Me shall say almost 6 years in me.
6 years. Until one day introduce you to Ejume.
Me mama. Na mama na o de nyama fi kwan so ba. Nti na me ba na nchen wa ha ba sisi ano. Waje na ho me kakra nti me na me ye.
No, I only for 6 years. Okay. Nti me show abrabo mu kakra unsen pempi ye wo abofra nye ya. Unye nyina osi o me ko school essence pese bia me ye doctor, pese me ye lawyer, pese me ye se unye na den da we ni so se wo be da achi.
Oh, me nyi ni de na kan pese me ko school na eja mbe ye aban adwuma. Ana se na me pese me ton ade but abanesa.
Say aban adwuma nti say e bin.
Oh, say school na me depend school na me ko no. Say me ko ya. Anka ebia secretary ana nursing ana say bibi. What you say?
It's not just a school went to me and Kobe cry.
Oh, me SS mom but na me nya boafo bia ma wanto ameso.
Ko do SS. Na vocational school. Na wo for we.
Oh, ma wo for wo ho. Ma wo for wo ho. Me ma wo papa wo ho. But na nyeme mu eye den kakra.
Modoswana.
Oh, yeah, no, so sad, but obey anything.
When you were in Kahia,
there be many also.
At what point now, Osha says, oh no, my mere babaton and your own Kaya.
Oh, maybe they came back. Na me call Togo Kofani my banty. Near my bad down near the end, I'm starting to say, me, ben, me, mammy, hasi. I mean, I am markets.
Like I say, we now one person beton idea. And see,
no woman is so.
Who reality no say CC idea, we need choice be a winner was all you know. The saying.
Oh, me okay. My dear to my brother, because I'm mania. What?
I be also Osha say 6 years ni. And then I be to me I can say, oh, me Mavis, me share Juma we I see me to me I say ni say Eddie free.
Oh, me share Juma na si ansa na me worry. Nyame adom bibia ye fine mama. Me okay.
Unya unsha say unya nsi wo dan ne na unya.
Oh, e go so.
I said Sunday bibia nso eyeboko.
I said your mind mo ayed. Nye easy. Hey, emo ayed you. Enso nyame wo ho. Nyame beye. Ye bompa ya I hope say nyame beye bibia.
What be you say olonka ba ko 20 cities. In a day oba ahena utumi eton.
Oh, I told the beer market in the told the beer, yeah, told the beer, and they say in the market in Yakra. Marketing, yes, a market, yeah, me to me tombe $5, but a net 3 pen a maton.
$5 now, they saying,
say 1 bag, and price says first near the Maya 300, say 35. It's me ton. Say no. Me fa wo me be fa e won omonchen na maton ti me wi ana me discount eko what you say nti de be ba so na be ye media
nti wedro pepe so bi wa brabo ma ohun say when nu ho say nia na nka pese o ye no wentumi anye
o ye me no me ho wa brabo mo kra not we ya makase me no me ho no
ebia unse ebia misuku me classmate omo ameni omuko school no unse mo do level bi na
say nia me hu ne say once a we ye adwuma nko ade so ono na wako school no okwa unse utimi ko bi what you say market any school no difference bi ene musa o kwa hu bibi ba na wo kwa utimi ko unse obetimi akobi obetimi a present o hu senia obi a wako school kra so ye den e present no ho no nti me no me ho that be pressure be any baby because obi wo kra wo ho a wako school so they do baby and your market no otimi eye ne ho we chen obi a wako school pen nti me no me ho kra
the market ne ekoye mo ya o seriously
oh eno ni adwuma me se meye nti se ne etie bia se yo se nyo e wo se me ma energy e wo ho
nti obi show video na o se mama Mavis asemwe a kama comment bi o mo bi person de mawa e de na obeka se obepese onipa na beboa e wo
o ma miskan fanya adwuma
se we adwuma ho se isika na bada danti
da bi se adwuma we nyema ne ye befa o ye ntua wo ton wia ansa na wo de ne ra sika ye den akoma no but wo kita capital na de ya okwa na wo de ya fa na wa beton
oji fi oton wia na nti da na wentumi anton ni nyina no be den
che na wa beto aso na wa beton
nti bi mo period a omodi ama so beton na this kind
and na me fa ye sansan o kira metimi abeto aso na me de ne rest ka ma te de bi na ye me kan so na wa ma o time na wo de etua and you obi adeka
maybe said that so ni yankasa
because ye de nya unya bibia easy sir what you say as time goes on na wo ton we te de bia be boka but e was say wo de ne rest ka ye den e ma na eno na ye kasa wona ne be kasa bia na nyema nko yi ama mentinu ma me bre me de betua na ma me nyema no na me ton fantua ma o kakra what ya sa na ye dete ha obi ene wo kura sika se me de dwaye na ye befa o ton wi na watua ne raka sa na ti
no maybe say that so ni enkasa
so madam asepa
so nya me she wan so the mouth say all from Mama Mavis. She's also inside the Agbogloshi market. In case you want to make yourself some hot palm nut soup, don't hesitate to reach out to her. My name is Victoria Cheba and this is Everyday People. See you on the next episode.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment.
Wow.
Enjoy the tasty berry twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy. Oh.
McBerry Twist Cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
I want you so bad, Alpha-Cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, Alpha-Cracker. I want you so bad, Alpha-Cracker.
Don't me call one casa.
Have a goodness rich in milk and butter in Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sweetheart, be mindful of your health. Idea Products Nadia Makeup. I welcome you to Sigma Health and Beauty. You can call us the Beauty Embassy. Who pursue beauty more revealed with quality makeup products. There is only one place. The Sigma Health and Beauty 2022 Ghana Makeup Awards Beauty Retail Business of the Year. Of course, we are the defending champions. World-class makeup brands and Kwanyet on, you name it. Maybelline, Dark and Lovely, House of Tara, and many more. Your professionalism in the beauty industry is unmatchable. Ensure the proper way of applying our products. Sigma Health and Beauty, Yewa Accra, Makola, Georgina Stores, and Rollins Park, Gate 4. Fryer 0248 138 596 and 0201 408 186. Or visit our online shop at www.beautyavenuegh.com. Sigma, your beauty, our joy.
GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the Organ Donation Legislation 2007. Now, Ghana Police Service in
The sad reality is that today our democracy as a country is threatened.
Words of affirmation or love language comes to edges.
When this bill is passed, more lives will be saved, and the financial
The December 2024 elections is just a few months away, but already there are many who believe that this election is a crucial one that is a make or break, especially for the nation. And while conversations are surrounding some of the biggest political parties in the country, there are other individuals and interested parties in this whole electioneering period. We're here to speak to one of those people. He's not a new face in the political landscape. Dr. Hassan Ayariga is a popular name and a figure. This will be his third or fourth time trying to get to the highest office of the land. Welcome to this election desk interview here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Eche Atisu. Doc, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Wonderful.
Good.
And how is the campaign going?
Campaign is expensive.
That's quite honest.
Yes, campaign is very expensive, and it's not been easy going around.
Okay.
There are two major political parties that they have monetized political campaign, and because of that, any leader who have to go out and campaign in a day must be looking in between 100,000 to 250, 300,000 to spend a day.
A day?
Yes, a day.
Is that specific to a particular region or across the country?
Everywhere, if you want to go out and do campaign. Every region.
That's
every
a lot
company.
of money.
Yes, because you need a minimum of, let's say, 1,000 to 2,000 t-shirts to move. 1,000 t-shirts is about 5,000 Ghana, 50,000 Ghana cedis. And another 1,000 that's almost 100,000 Ghana cedis just for t-shirt. If you are moving with just 2,000 t-shirts, you need vehicles, you need to fuel them. Wherever you are going, you have to organize the place and get the people to either wait for you or organize them in houses like communities, like in the chief's homes, in the chief's palace, community base, and other social gathering. And you have to pay for that. And then you talk about item 13. Whatever you do, you don't gather people. Now the economy is so hard and so tough that when you gather people, they expect to take something home.
At least you feed them.
Yes.
Okay.
Not only feed them, at least you transport them.
So that's the money we're talking about.
Yes, they expect you to pay for their transport to come to you, and expect to go back getting the transport, and expect to get item 13 as well. When you put all these things together, campaign is very expensive.
You clearly are telling us that it's expensive. So why the interest? Why are you interested? And in any case, after all these attempts, do you really think Ghanaians take you, Hassan Ayariga, seriously to become the next president of this country?
When you say why, I will first of all answer why, and then I'll answer whether the Ghanaian people believe in Hassan Ayariga's leadership. Why? Because the leaders who have ruled this country have failed us. And we cannot say every good thing is expensive. There is nothing that comes out and is cheap and you think that it's good. First of all, the why is that 32 years down the lane, we have seen parties change leadership, 16 years, 8 years, 8 years, 8 years, 8 years.
That's in our fourth republic.
In our fourth republic. And you can tell that nothing good is coming out of their leadership. Look at the roads in Accra. It's terrible. That's the capital city of Ghana. Look at the living conditions of the people in Accra. Go to Circle and see how people are sleeping under the bridges. They can't get even proper water to bath. In Accra here, there's shortage of water every day. Prices of goods and services in the market outrageously increases almost every day. You talk about jobs. The youth of this country do not have jobs. They come out of schools and there are no jobs. So there's no future for any young man living in Ghana under the two leadership. So I, who grew up from Europe, I grew up in Germany.
Okay.
At age 16, I already have a car, driving my own car. By age 18, 19, 20, I had a chain of pizza company, restaurants, running them and making money. By 2021, I was already fine. When I say fine, I was fine.
Fine as in
I was okay. I had houses.
You were a millionaire by then?
Yes, I had houses in Ghana.
And abroad as well?
And a lot of things. So you look at the environment that I made all these things. That enabling environment is what I'm looking for my people. That is the why I am running for the president. If I can get all these things within 2021 and I'm okay, go abroad and you see that many young people at that age are fine. Ours are still struggling to get 3 square meals. Not even 3, 2.
It's been reduced to 1 actually.
So. Okay, it's been reduced to 1. So you are also confirming it. So you ask yourself, do we really have the leaders? We have oil, bauxite, manganese, diamond, cocoa, timber, rubber, anything you can mention of mineral resources and natural resources. Ghana is richly rewarded by God. But what we don't have is the leadership. And that is why our people are struggling and suffering.
You believe it's an issue of leadership?
I believe it's an issue of leadership. And leadership entails a lot. If you put a plane down and say, those who want to travel to, the first people who run inside will be probably the ministers, followed by the deputy ministers. And then as for the young people, they don't even get. That is how bad our country has become. That there's no hope for the future. But the only thing we see is corruption, mismanagement, wastage, and all that. So that is the how. Now, do Ghanaians take me serious? Yes, they do. If not, I won't be contesting for president anymore. Ghanaians are looking for a third force. A third force that will salvage this country. And the policies I bring on board is even what I spoke about in 2016 and 2020. And the Ghanaian people did not listen to. Today they are listening to it from the bigger parties, using it as their campaign.
So it's just your messages that are being refined, are being brought back.
But I said those messages in 2016.
What are some of those messages?
24-hour economy.
Okay. You are the one brought.
I spoke about it 2016, 2020. So if you go and take my manifesto, it's there. Today, my good brothers from the NDC are using it, and every Ghanaian is like a digitalization. I spoke about e-governance in 2016, 2020. Today, MPP is using it, and what do you call it? And every Ghanaian is saying digitalization. So you see, these are things. Now, if you ask me, what message do the NDC and MPP have for Ghanaians? They have nothing. Totally nothing.
But you seem to have the ideas. You seem to have all the ideas.
Yes, I have. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to narrate them one after that and tell you policies. Maybe they shouldn't steal them before the time again.
Hopefully.
Yes,
hopefully.
Because I'm going to tell you how we're going to change this country, how we're going to transform Ghana within 1-2 years. Do you understand? The MPP says it is possible. It's a slogan. It's not a message. It's not a campaign message but nobody is asking them. Every day, Bawumia keeps saying things that if you listen to him, you don't know whether they are taking Ghanaians for granted or we don't have, let me not use the word competent people to contest. But I don't see any message coming out from these two parties. I don't see anything concrete. I see them just using their platforms just to make sure that the media carry their campaign activities rather than their campaign messages.
Okay.
Are you with me? Because clearly, if these two parties have message, we will not be where we are. The fundamentals will not be where we are. Look at the Ghana cedi, almost 1760 to $1. It's unacceptable. The Ghanaian businessmen are becoming poorer by the day because of the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. In 2007, a million Ghana cedis was $1.1 million. I made those changes.
The government says that they've gone through certain phases. There's been COVID, there's been the Russia-Ukraine war. The world has suffered from these very obvious challenges. Would that not be fair to say that is the reason we are where we are, so that you are not comparing a year or a time like 2007 to now?
It is only an ignorant person who will sit down and see COVID as a punishment to Ghanaians rather than a blessing. COVID took lives, but it also came back in a form of blessing to Ghanaians, because Ghana was given a lot of billions of cedis and support. Till date, the government of Ghana is still charging people COVID levy. So what are you telling me? I just cleared my car. I paid almost 400,000 Ghana cedis to clear one car. and the COVID charges on it was almost 40,000 Ghana cedis.
40,000?
Yes, Ghana cedis.
That's, and in total, you
in one car, including one car, I paid over 40,000.
Is that a 4-wheel drive, a saloon?
Just a normal 4-wheel drive for my campaign. And each car was duty. Some of them, they were depending on the duty. Some are paid 16,000, some are paid 22,000, some are paid 30 and 40. COVID levy.
Is this why you have one of your policies as something that's going to tackle the ports,
yes.
make it free?
Is
yes. That why? Is it because of your personal
No,
experience?
it's not because of why. It's because what are we importing into Ghana?
Almost everything.
We don't need that. We need to begin to export. So I will come to my policies and then we'll explain to you why. I'm just answering your first two questions. So Ghanaians really believe in Hassan Ayariga. The only difference between the NDs and the MPP is that they are campaigning on state resources, using state fund to campaign. So they are able to get to the people the way they want rather than Hassan Ayariga. Now look, a Vice President Bawumia moves around. He moves with state vehicles. He moves with state funding. He moves with state security. He moves with state fuel.
That's for the MPP.
I'll come.
That's for the MPP, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
He moves with that.
Okay.
Now the state is funding his campaign.
Yes. On one side.
On one side, against Hassan Ayariga.
Then
If Bawumia goes to a chief and greet the elders of the chiefs or groups and give them money, it's our state money. If you wear the MPP t-shirt, it's state money. If you wear MPP jacket or whatever, it's funded by the state. On the other hand, if you wear my t-shirt, it's coming from my personal pocket. If you see me driving a Land Cruiser, a pickup or whatever, it's my property. If I go to a hotel and pay bills, it's coming from my pocket. If I go to the chief and donate 1 cedi to the chief, it's coming from pocket. Will you make this comparison and say it is fair for political parties in power to use state funds to run their campaigns? And that is why I called for amendment of the Constitution. Not amendment of the Constitution, actually making sure that the Constitution works.
Works. So the Constitution doesn't work now?
When it comes to that. Now, go to Article 68 of the Constitution. It says, whilst President of the Republic of Ghana, you cannot hold any office, private or public. You cannot involve in any business, running any company, either making profit or emolument, or holding a position, public or private.
Okay. So actually says hold the office of the Chancellor. Okay. The number 2 says the President shall not, on leaving office as President, hold any office of profit or emolument, except with the permission of Parliament, in any establishment, either directly or indirectly, other than that of the state. How is that tying into your argument?
Good. Now the argument is that the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana is holding a political office which is public. He's now the leader of the MPP. And per this constitution, you cannot hold office of vice president at the same time hold office of.
So you are suggesting that he steps down?
Yes, I said it on and on. I am asking him to step down because now he's not going to be in his office for the next 4 months. He's going to be campaigning, using state resources, moving from one region to another, moving from one community to another, and his office is going to be vacant. So who is the vice president today of the Republic of Ghana? And who is the MPP presidential candidate?
But there have been precedents.
And that precedent shows that we have been making a lot of mistakes and we have to correct it.
Okay.
Even it says whilst president, even the president himself, let me shift to that so that people don't get confused. Read it again. It says president even
shall not leaving office as president. It says on leaving office.
No, whilst in office. It didn't say on leaving office. Whilst in office. Article 68. Read
68. Yes. Of the Constitution.
Number 1.
It says the president on leaving office as president. The B says hold the office of chancellor or head of any university. Maybe we should read it from the top. It says the president shall not, while he continues in office as president. Okay.
Read that section.
The president shall not, while he continues in office as president.
Yes.
A. Hold any other office of profit or emolument.
Yes.
Whether private or public.
Yes.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
So even the president himself is banned from holding a political party office whilst in office.
This is a very controversial.
It is not. It's the law.
So what happens?
We've abused it over the years.
So does it mean no president can seek a second term?
You can seek, but you have to resign.
How do you do that?
Because when you are president and you are elected flag bearer of your party, 3 months to election, within that period of 3 months, you have to resign for your vice to take over. This is the constitution. I am not the one saying.
Doc, I'm trying to just understand this.
Yes.
A sitting president wants to seek a second term because per constitution you are able to go for 2 terms, 4.
Yes, but the constitution
you are the same constitution
says that whilst you are in office, you are not supposed to hold public office, private or directly, public or private. You are not supposed to hold it, profit or emolument. Now, the office of flag bearer of a political party is another portfolio which you are now going to lead. You are now going to lead another political party into an election.
I'm sure this conversation
so
about what needs to be done with the constitution, especially with these two scenarios.
The constitution is not clear.
We need to be looked at. Yeah,
it's not clear. And I'll give you another problem again we are facing in this country. In the last election, I don't want to say this, but I have to say it. Nobody got 50 plus 1% in the last election.
Nobody?
Nobody.
So how did the MPP?
It's because they did not follow due diligence in competing the resource. Now go back and read.
Who did not do that?
The EC.
So you mean the EC colluded?
The EC did not do a good job. The constitution says that a president shall be deemed president if he gets 50
plus 1
of valid vote cast. Listen to the word, valid vote cast. In the last election, they did not do the calculation, or they did not use valid vote cast to determine the election. They used vote cast.
What is the difference?
The difference is that 70 million people went to the polls to vote. 60 million was valid. 1 million was destroyed. So if the 1 million was not valid, spoiled ballots, spoiled votes, and all those things is 1 million. Now, in competing for the results, you need to use 16 million to compete for the 50 plus 1, not 17.
It's clear that your campaign is to negate the duopoly of the NDC, the MPP. Help us understand how the APC and you, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, are going to convince people to move away from what they've known for the greater part of their lives, to come to believe in your ideals. I mean, for this nation.
When you asked the first question, I said the campaign was expensive. That is the problem. We have monetized our political campaign, thereby not giving minority parties the opportunity to reach the people and they'll hear their voice. Now what they do is that they sell their votes. The Ghanaian people have been subjected to poverty and suffering and hardship. Instead of now listening to the policies and the visions and strategies of political party, they are now selling their votes. And that is the problem.
It's no longer about policies.
It's no longer about policies. And that is the problem. And those elite that you can't buy their vote, they have decided to become adamant. And that is the reason now we have voter apathy. So see, in the last elections, I'll still refer you to that one, because that is just the past one. 70 million people were registered as voters. 11 million people went to the polls. 6 million Ghanaians refused to go to the polls. These are the elite who understand the dynamic of democracy and politics. They are not interested in going to waste their time on NDC or NPP. So that is why there was so much voter apathy. This year, it's probably going to increase.
Even the 6 million?
Yes.
And could that 6 million have been people that would have voted
for us? Now, we are saying, APC and Hassan Ayariga, we are saying, look, we understand your pain. We understand the hardship. We understand the difficulties. But if I have to pay for you to vote for me, I'm equally going to be like NDC and MPP. And I don't want to be corrupt. You ask them, where did they get the money to pay you? Where are they getting the money? Why will you want me to give you a job and you have to pay me for me to give you the job? That is corruption in the highest order. And we, the citizens, we are encouraging the corruption that NDC and MPP are doing because we do not ask them hard questions. We do not ask them difficult questions. When you want to buy a mobile phone, you examine the phone. You look at it, whether it's quality, you test it to see whether it's quality before you buy. Do we do same when we are voting for either NDC or MPP?
How do you discourage the people who have known how
through your media? Through your media. I'm not discouraging them. I'm educating them.
How long
There's
will
a difference
it take you to do that?
If you can carry these stories as far as you can, it will take me less than a month.
You think that less than a month?
Less than a month. Because
before the elections this year,
before the elections, it is just the issue of people listening to us. People debating with us. You see, today the NDC and MPP are running away from their own debates. It's not because they are running away from debates. It's because they can't sit and let the Ghanaians hear the truth of the matter and understand the dynamics.
On that score, by the way, would you participate?
I have even asked for the two of them to sit before me. And when they sit before me, I'm calling for a debate from John Mahama and the NDC, MPP. But in this case, I don't want a debate where we all go in with foreign materials. I want a debate like as I'm sitting now here with you. I'm not holding any document. I'm not holding. And I'm going to tell you policies upon policies and how I'm going to change. This is debate for me. But when you go and sit down, you are given your manifesto, you're given an iPad, you read direct from the iPad. It is an encounter. It's not a debate for me. And that's what they do all the time. Let's be serious about this debate. It doesn't matter whether John Mahama wanted to debate Bawumia, Akufo-Addo, and Akufo-Addo refused, or whether Bawumia wants to debate them. The issue is that we are going into an election, and Ghanaians want to hear what you have as presidential candidate, what you have for them. It is not about who is your colleague. If it is in that case, I started running president way before Bawumia and even President Mahama. I started contesting with President, may his soul rest in peace, President Atamils and President Akufo-Addo. We're on the same camp. But today, I am willing to sit with the two of them and debate. In politics, there's no class. What is important is your vision and policy to be able to tell the people to change their mind and transform their life. That is the class.
Let me allow you to.
So I will advise the NDC
to catch your breath just for a bit. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about all your policies and how you really want to change the mindset of people. We'll be back shortly.
That's good.
Dr. Hassan Ayariga is the founder of the All People's Congress, APC, and he's also one of the faces that have been on the political scenes for a very long time, wanting to become Ghana's president. Doc, you say you give Ghanaians a new identity, a new passport of the sort. How do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Look at Steve, now you are giving me my policies back.
You want to begin from there? I mean, yes.
I said this because, you see, we have a country where foreigners have taken over. Our lands, our properties, our resources, our minerals, everything is in the hands of the foreigners. It is only in Ghana that you can be a foreigner and go to the chiefs and buy plot outright and it becomes yours. I said, when I become president, I'm going to have 3 identities, 3 different passports. The first passport, which is the green passport, is going to be Ghanaian. Parents father and mother, all Ghanaian. That passport is a unique passport for the first-class citizen of Ghana. And that person is the only one entitled to run for president, to become an MP or member of any public institution, to buy land in his or her name and own properties in Ghana. That person is entitled to all the benefits that a citizen can have. Number one. Number two is a second passport where you have half-half. Parents, let's say European and mother Ghanaian. You are entitled to buy property using the name of the Ghanaian, not yours. So you get the second passport. So your limitations, you have a lot of limitations. You cannot run for president, you cannot run for MP, and you cannot run for public office.
When people think that's discriminatory?
I am coming. The last passport is those who naturalize. Who says, okay, I want to be a Ghanaian, I'm an American, I want to naturalize and be. Those people are not entitled to buy any form of property in Ghana or any form of property. Ghana is for Ghanaians. We are practically losing our sovereignty, our properties, because we are underprivileged.
When you say it's for Ghanaians,
yes.
If someone naturalizes, is the person
yes,
not a Ghanaian? If the person by
Ghanaian,
marriage,
you're not born Ghanaian.
Okay, so maybe you should
Those
qualify.
Who are married are under that group.
So maybe we should be talking about qualifying what you mean by Ghanaians by saying
the
that
first class citizen.
The first class citizen.
The first class passport, the green.
Okay.
You see, very soon, because we have monetized politics, and people can have Ghanaian passport by naturalization or by marriage and everything. A Chinese man who happens to have a Ghana passport, a Ghanaian passport, can come and contest for president. A Lebanese who happens to have a Ghanaian passport can come and contest.
You see that happen one day?
It is going to happen. It's coming.
Is that a prophecy?
It's
yes. Are you not a prophet?
I'm not a prophet, but I see beyond things that you don't probably see. I see a lot of things. When I sit down, I've roamed around this world. No matter how rich you are in China, you can't own a property as a foreigner. It's happening. Nobody has ever said anything about that.
But China practices a different type of...
And I'm going to practice my own.
That's why they've been able to do
You
that.
cannot.
Yeah.
You hold a second passport, you cannot hold a weapon in Ghana. A third passport. You cannot have a weapon in Ghana. You cannot register a company under your name. You cannot.
Won't that scare people away from Ghana?
It's not going to scare people. It's going to get our sovereignty back. Look, all the lands in this country have been sold to foreigners. Go to the prime areas in Accra and see those who are living there. Go to Trazako, they are just foreigners. Go to rich foreigners. Go to airport foreigners. It will get to a point, even there are some hotels and restaurants in this country that they will ban Ghanaians from going in there. It's coming. I don't know whether it's even happening.
Right here in Ghana?
Yes. It's happening in Kenya. It's happening in other foreign countries, African countries, that Chinese have taken over companies and they say, oh, black man, you can't enter.
In democracies?
Yes, in this country. Even in Ghana, very soon you will hear that there are some restaurants that when you're a black man, you come, they'll tell you no.
That's your second prophecy.
It will happen. Because we don't value ours, we don't protect ours. And I'm going to protect my sovereignty for the people of Ghana. I will go one day. But we have to put the laws and regulations that will protect the people.
Somebody say talk is cheap.
Poverty is a crime now.
Okay.
It's a crime to Ghanaians because we're losing everything. Nigerians are buying our land outright every day. Togolese and Germans and Burkina Faso and Lebanese are owning all the big properties. Take the road sprinters, the industrial roads, and go in and look through how many Ghanaians own these factories. They are all owned by foreigners. You come, Any company you want to open, you go through a first-class citizen's name and open. The day you want to go, you can go. The property doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the citizen of Ghana. Anything you want to do has to be Ghanaian first. And now I come back to my policies.
Yes.
Look, my first policy is change of mindset.
Change of mindset.
That's first policy number one, change of mindset.
That will take a lot of time to...
It's not going to take a lot of time. It involves dialogue.
Okay. Dialogue with who? The citizens?
Everyone, the citizens, the president sitting before the citizens and telling them the truth of the matter and believing that all of them must begin to work for our motherland, Ghana. We must change our mindset. The way we do things at work site, as humans to another, the way we behave towards our country, the issue of what we call Ghanaians first, in terms of anybody who has to do anything in Ghana Ghanaian man must come first in everything. That change of mindset, that we need to change our attitude towards building this country and making sure that this country becomes the country we all want it to be. That we have no other country anywhere. And until we have that mindset change and attitudinal change to believe in ourselves and work together and build a strong country, and that the president will periodically have to communicate with the people to let them know that this is your country, Ghana. You're not going anywhere. If we refuse to build it, nobody will build it for us. If we refuse to protect it, nobody will protect it. Every citizen is a patriotic citizen to his country. And his alliance is to his country. We must begin to have that mindset first. And if we have that mindset, corruption, mismanagement, wastage will be thing of the past. Because we begin to think otherwise, behave otherwise. Our attitude towards work will change. That you know that by 6 o'clock you have to be at work. You know that at 5:50 I am at work. 6 o'clock I'll start my job. Our attitude will change towards the way we look at the way the country is so dirty. We'll change our mind that we must keep our city clean. We must work to make this country a very beautiful, conducive, understanding place for everybody to come and live.
And then from there, you say you would improve healthcare.
From mindset, change of mindset, I move to the second one, a national data system.
What's a national data system?
National data system is a database to collect information of every Ghanaian and all people living in Ghana, right from their facial recognition, their properties, their fingerprint, their blood samples, their salaries, their employment status.
Is that not what the Ghana card and the likes of the census does?
The Ghana card does not keep records of everybody. It keeps records of people from 15 years going upward. It does not have information of your salary. It does not have information of your properties. It does not have information of your income. It does not have information of your blood sample and all that. That is just a Ghana card meant to take certain groups of people's information, not everybody. Now the data is different from the card. The data gives you all the information of every Ghanaian. So you, Achu, all I need is just Achu, your telephone number. I key in your telephone number, and every information about you will drop. It's unique. Your telephone number is unique. No two people can have the same number. I key in your car number plate, and every information about you will pop up. I key in your date of birth and your surname, and every information of yours will pop up. Whether you are working or not, I'll know. If you're a student, I'll know. If you're employed, I'll know. If you're out of school and you are on the street, I will know. If you are stealing government money, your accounts information will show. The date, your accounts information will show. Whether you have 3 properties or 5 children, all the information about you will be keyed in.
Are these
this
policies
is unique?
Are these policies not very alien to the Ghanaian? And I say this because maybe what people call bread and butter issues may not necessarily be about you creating a data system that would have all the information that people want jobs.
When the rain is about to come, and you look at the clouds and you ask, is it raining? Is it about to rain? You hold on and wait till I get there, and you will see what I'm doing.
All
you
right.
see, we have a banana economy.
Okay.
And because we have this banana economy, we are unable to plan. So let me continue, and you will see where I'm getting to.
Please do.
Now, I gave you first one, change of mindset. It's a revolution of everything. You have to build a country using systematic policies, not promises to win election, promises to build a society and build a country. NDC and MPPC, Ghana has business. I've never in my life thought of being a president to become a businessman. So they are doing business. I am not doing business. I want to run a country. I want to build a nation. So you want to do business, do your business with a country. I am here to build a nation. So I'm continuing. So change of mindset. You remember in 1979 when President Rawlings became the revolutionary leader, he spoke to the people mindset was on, they were all following him, let the blood flow and all that. That was the mindset of the people to come all together to build this country. At that time, this is the kind of mindset I need now. That people will support me, follow me, and will build the country for all of us. So the data system gives me the information and the statistics of how we all live in this country, our status, our everything. Then it takes me to the third one, a national development plan. So with the data system and the database, I am now able to use it to plan for the future. When it comes to education, I'm not just going to train people to write exams and pass anymore. I am going to use the data to get the kind of graduates I'm looking for. In planning, so people don't go to school now just to become graduates. People go to school because they are going to fit into the industry or into my planning of 2025. So the students who are in school now are now going to use specific courses that will integrate them into the system. Not reading arts or any other things to become a graduate. No, I am training you for the job out there. Because my data gives me the kind of information that I need. I'm lacking doctors, probably lacking engineers. I don't have enough engineers. I don't have enough nurses. I don't have enough farmers. I don't have enough doctors. So that data I have will now show that, look, this year we need thousands of people to become doctors. We need 2,000 to become nurses. We need 5,000 to fit into the industry. We need 2,000 students to go and do agric and all that. So this gives me the National Development Plan policy, where now I plan my country based on the data that I have, so that we don't just produce students who are avoidable. So if I want 1,000 students to go into police, right from level 300, a slot is given to every school, the number of policemen I want in the system. So if I'm looking for 10,000 policemen next year, I'm not going to pick them from the street and say, everybody go and buy. No, before you become an officer, you have to become first a graduate first.
So that'll be a requirement?
Yes, that would be my first
standard.
Standard. Every what do you call it, security institution, the requirement, the first requirement is first degree.
All these sound like very long-term.
They are not long-term.
Long-term
They are not
plans.
long-term. When you put the institutions in place, they work automatically. So let's continue. So, National Development Plan. In the planning, we have to come to what I call the economic lockdown production.
Okay. That's on the economy.
Yes, that's
economic lockdown.
Economic lockdown production.
You're going to lock the economy?
I'm going to lock the economy down.
Just like somebody said with keys?
Yes, like, COVID-19 came and we locked down.
Yes.
We locked down because of a pandemic. And when we locked down, we could not produce enough to feed our country. After 2 weeks of lockdown, Ghanaians had to come out, Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi, looking for food. Now, what it tells us is that with the planning in the National Development Plan, where we now know that we cannot produce, We cannot manufacture. We cannot import. So everything we are importing. We import over $1.2 billion of rice every year. Meanwhile, we have farmlands in all the 3 northern regions and other regions where we can farm and increase productivity of production of rice so that we don't have to import. We import over $800 million of cooking oil. When we can produce cooking oil using granules, soybean, coconut, palm oil, and the rest, yet we spend over $800 million in the importation of rice. Importation of oil. Tomatoes and canned tomatoes, we spend same. Chicken and fish, we spend all these things. Now, what I want to do with the economic lockdown is to lock down Ghana, that will become now a production, manufacturing, and industrial hub. And that is where my policy number 5 comes. Production, manufacturing, and industrial.
Let me take you back.
And production number 6, hold on. I tell you, it's a cycle. You have to listen very well.
Okay.
All that I'm telling you is a continuation of a cycle. Now takes me to my 24-hour
I hope your policies are not going to get people even more angry, because these things seem like you are going to cut off people, businesses. When you say you lock down an economy, how about those who already run businesses?
They will import what they have to import for the next 1 year so that we can produce within the next year.
You become like the Joseph of Egypt.
I don't know who is Joseph of Egypt. I am Hassan Ayariga of Ghana. And this is how I want to run my country.
Okay.
Everybody has his own vision and policy. People who love this country have different vision of running this country. People who want to use the country for business have different ways of running this country. I love this country. I'm a patriotic citizen. I've gone around the world. I've seen how people have transformed their countries. Ghana is not an exception. Ghana cannot be poor. Ghana cannot be importing every day and talking about job, when there's so much job to do and we're not doing. There's so much work to do. It's only an ignorant person who thinks that Ghana is okay. But a big person like me can feel that Ghana is still a baby when it comes to anything in the world. We have all that it takes to transform this country, but we have given it out to the foreigners. We have gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese, oil, and foreigners are the one mining it. And we have become 21st century slaves in our own country. And my change of passport will not make any foreigner have any license to mine gold.
Doc, just so we manage,
a bit, you know, because I want you to understand where I'm coming
just
from.
So we manage the time and also get you to speak about a number of your policies, because I know if we had a whole, they would get to speak about your bright policies for this country. Give me your top 3 policies. Top 3.
Mindset.
First of all.
Second
is what?
System.
National data.
Economic lockdown.
Great. Now, let's just move it forward a little, because we can have more time to speak about your policies.
Let me bring you now the 24-hour economy, how it links to what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Now, from the
just quickly, so that we can move on.
Manufacturing industrial hub, where we lock down the economy to become a food, a production nation. So we're now going to work 24 hours around the clock to be able to achieve the economic lockdown. And that Ghanaians are now going to be working 8 hours in the morning, 8 hours in the afternoon, 8 hours in the evening. And that is the 3-shift system, where there's a cycle of production. So production 8 hours in the morning, manufacturing 8 hours in the afternoon, industrialization 8 hours in the evening. So we are now going to turn our workforce into 3 groupings. So 24 hours around the clock, Ghana will be busy day and night. And productivity will increase, manufacturing will increase, industrialization will increase, because we are producing enough to feed the manufacturing industry. And the manufacturing industry is doing enough to feed the industrial industries. So we need to begin to know that we cannot be a country that have all these resources and yet import. We have to export. That will now bring us to the policy of retaining and making sure that our city become appreciated. Look, it's only an ignorant businessman who will take crude from Ghana and send abroad and go refine it and bring it back and sell. A smart businessman will put up a refinery here, and we have crude. We refine it and send it out. But what do? We take our crude. This is how we work. This is how Ghanaian companies work. They take the crude from Ghana. The Ghana government sells crude to outsiders. They buy the crude from us, refine it to a finished product, and bring it back to sell to us to make profit. Let me use a literal way of explaining so that you understand. It's like a farmer who farms rice, yam, tomatoes, and granules and all that. This farmer, instead of cooking the food to feed his children, he takes this farm produce and go and give it to a restaurant owner. The restaurant owner buys it from him and now prepare the food. And he and his family goes there to buy the food to eat. Literally, this is what I want you to understand.
Doc, I want us to extend this conversation, but I want to thank you.
Yes.
I want to thank you for at least sharing some of your bright ideas with us. We'll take this conversation further from here, but we'll end it for now, and then we can come back later and speak about it. Dr. Hassan Ayariga has been our guest here on Election Desk here on GhanaWeb TV. In another part of this interview, we'll speak more about his policies and also how truly he wants to transform this Ghana of ours. My name is Echi Atisu. Thank you for joining us.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment. Enjoy the tasty but very twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk. Yummy! Oh! McBurry Twist Cupcakes. Simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
I want you so bad, alpha cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, alpha cracker. I want you so bad, alpha cracker.
Alpha goodness rich in milk and butter. In Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers. Simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sweetheart, be mindful of your health. Idea Products Nadia Makeup. I welcome you to Sigma Health and Beauty. You can call us the Beauty Embassy. Who pursue beauty more revealed with quality makeup products. There is only one place. The Sigma Health and Beauty 2022 Ghana Makeup Awards. Beauty Retail Business of the Year. Of course, we are the defending champions. World-class makeup brands and Kwanyet on. You name it. Maybelline, Dark and Lovely, House of Tara, and many more. Your professionalism in the beauty industry is unmatchable. Ensure the proper way of applying our products. Sigma Health and Beauty, Yewa Accra, Makola, Georgina Stores, and Rollins Park, Gate 4. Fryer 0248 138 596 and 0201 408 186. Or visit our online shop at www.beautyavenuegh.com. Sigma, your beauty, our joy.
GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the Organ Donation Legislation 2007. Now, we're Ghana Police Service in
The sad reality is that today, our democracy as a country is threatened.
Words of affirmation or love language comes to edge us all.
When this bill is passed, more lives will be saved, and the financial fair.
I
actually wore my first slippers when I went to secondary school. When you are going to primary school, then you can have some shorts around your waist, but bare-chested running around, throwing stones and climbing trees. Yeah, so that was my youth.
What's your best meal?
Oh my, I'm a Dagomba man, so my toza filled with dry okra soup would always be number one.
Do you remember the meeting you had that led you to Stanbic?
You know, I was invited over to Simon Street, where Standard Bank has their head office buildings, and we had coffee, and then they told me, no, they wanted me to, consider joining Standard Bank.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of The Lowdown here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Echi Atisu. Today we have a personality profile of a man who, in many respects, especially within the economic world, is someone who knows it all. He's been through the ranks. He's served at various levels of the ladder when it comes to the economic sector of this country. Now, Dr. Hassan Ayariga is our guest on The Lowdown. These days, we talk a lot about the economy. Maybe we'll learn a thing or two from this conversation. Now, Doctor, thank you, sir, for
Thank you very much.
The opportunity. How have you been, sir?
Doing well, keeping well.
Yes, and we don't get to see you a lot these days because we know very recently you went on retirement.
That's true.
Yes.
And,
how is retirement, if I could describe it as such, how is that treating you?
Well, I actually don't call it retirement. I say retrying. I'm retrying other things, finding new interests, and lots of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been busy. At least I say now, well, I have my own destiny in my own hands. So yeah, it's quite enjoyable.
I see.
I say.
Those are the kinds of. So I imagine you've been into a number of things. You're doing your own thing now, and you say now you have your own freedom. Is that what it is?
Well, when I say freedom, look, when you are working in corporate life, it's very prescriptive. Basically, when to come to work and when to go home, what to do and what not to do, and all of that. Yeah, all of that, builds your personality, builds your character, and all of that. But where I am, I choose, what to do, and what contributions to make, and So at the moment, I run or founded the LVS Africa, which is an enterprise development firm. It's always been my interest to deal and solve corporate problems, particularly dealing with the very poor entrepreneurial record of Africa and Ghana and Africa
I'm sure we'll get to speak more about that. Yeah. I want to know you a little more. I know we talk about you every time we mention Chief Andani. We're talking about either Stanbic. We're talking about someone who was at the Association of Bankers.
Yes, that's right.
And all of that. But can we get to know who you are exactly? Apart from all the glory and all the big things we know you've achieved.
Yeah.
Where did the life of the young Hassan Ayariga start from?
Well, yes, so my life started in a little village near Tamale called Bamvim.
Okay.
That's where I was born, to the royal chief of Bamvim at the time, who was also a teacher. So I started my life in Bamvim. Then my father moved on to Sanaragu, which is another chieftaincy where he went to occupy, and I continued primary school in Sanaragu. Then went on to Ghana Secondary School, Tamale, where I did my O-levels from 1973 to 1978. Then I came to Tamale Secondary School to do my A-levels from 1979 to 1980. And then entered University of Ghana, supposed to have graduated in 1983. But those were difficult days with Jerry Rollins chasing everybody around. So we graduated in 1984, and that was my first degree. And then I moved on to do my national service at the then Social Security Bank, where I started my banking career in development finance.
That's a quick run through your life.
Yeah.
But I want to imagine there are the stories from your growing up.
Yeah.
Maybe something you never mentioned anywhere, because I've read quite a number of things about you online. I've watched videos, but maybe I haven't heard stories about Chief Andani as a little boy, maybe secondary school, growing up. You were royal. But what was life like for you? Any memories?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think for me, as I reflect on my growing up, it's probably was the kind of life I was being prepared for. So I grew up in a big home. As I said, my father was a chief, and in that house, everybody is treated equally. So really, we didn't have the opportunity to call him daddy. Everybody called him chief in our local language, nah, you know. So that was just how you brought up. And now even reflecting, even though I had elder brothers who were quite well placed, now I mean we're just allowed to run around like every other ordinary kid without pants on, and just running around as young kids until probably when you are going to primary school, then you can have some shorts around your waist, but bare-chested running around throwing stones and climbing trees. Yeah, so that was my youth, and it was quite tough. And I always say that I actually wore my first slippers when I went to secondary school. And we looked after our pets.
Was that a normal thing at the time?
It was normal. It was normal, and as I said, it was just part of growing up. I mean, if it is shoes, I'm sure my dad could provide me shoes. Yes. I had elder brothers who were already medical doctors; they could provide shoes, but they just subtracted all of that and allowed you to grow. So that was part of it. And I mean, as I reflect now, I think that was just part of setting you up for what challenges you will face. Because today, even as I sit where I sit, I still look after people in the villages walking barefooted. That's it. So you can relate, even as you've moved on. You can relate to what the situation is. So that's the story to secondary school. And secondary school was quite enjoyable. I loved reading. I was a quiet person. I'm sure my mates will agree that. But those in my circle would always know that I was very debative. I was quite debative and will challenge every view. But outside that circle, I was pretty quiet.
I see.
Then I came to sixth form, was a bit more just growing, maturing, and getting ready for university. So, and Tamale Secondary School and Ghana Secondary School are like, first rivals. So moving from Ghana School to, or we used to call it Ghana College, into Tamale Secondary School was quite a challenge where, I used to be called a Russian, so the Tamaskans were the originals and everybody else coming was a Russian. But we survived.
I see.
We survived,
So at what point did you, of course, decide that you wanted to do what you did? Economy, what was that something you dreamt about, to go into the area of economics?
It is, because I actually did physics, chemistry, maths at A-levels. So to switch over to finance and economics was a deliberate. I mean, the final years of my university, we did a lot of development finance, and the whole subject of development finance actually intrigued me. It was an element of economics that I felt was a bit more practical in my young head, and I could appreciate what it was to try and take an idea, put resources together, model what the future would look like, make assumptions, and implement and measure to deliver. So it was actually in my final year of the university that I made a pitch that I would want to go into banking. And fortunately, I was posted to SSB. And SSB was set up, the Social Security Bank was set up as a development bank. And at that time, Ghana had a structured financial system. We had development finance institutions, we had commercial banks, and of course you had the development banks or merchant banks. So I was in SSB where, at that time it was largely development finance, even though we had a burden retail business. And in the development finance unit, that's where I actually cut my teeth into banking. And I always tell people that SSB trained me, because really understanding banking, corporate business, clients, what the economy looks like, how it impacts every sector of the economy, and how you can understand what the macro is and use the micro to run your business. That's really where it all began.
And in that sector, you more or less achieved it all. You went from the lowest to the highest. And I read somewhere that by the time you're even leaving Stanbic, for instance, what you took over, having 3 branches, you left with about 34.
Well,
how were you able to do all of that?
No, I mean, look, with great humility, I mean, Standard Bank is a great institution. It's 100 plus, probably one of the oldest actual indigenous banks in Africa. And so the bank has history, the bank had capital, the bank had resources, the bank had people and talent. So mine was just to take a franchise in an economy that the group was very interested in. At the time, we're looking to be large. Standard Bank was very large in South Africa, and largely the SADC zone. So they were looking to grow significantly into a major tier bank in West Africa. So I was given the Ghana piece. So there was a huge push from the group in terms of all the resources that were required. So my piece was to put together the team and to understand the economy, sectionalize the economy, and then land all the group structures in the country.
Do you remember the meeting you had that led you to Stanbic? That meeting where you met and maybe you spoke with the people from South Africa. What did you tell them in that meeting?
Well, yes, it was interesting because I was with Barclays. I'd moved, yes. I was at Barclays in South Africa working in the, what we call non-presence countries. So I was basically providing coverage work, corporate coverage work in countries for Barclays where we didn't have a fiscal presence. And I had actually moved from Barclays, Ghana as Deputy Managing Director and Executive Director Corporate Banking. So, where I had been from, 2000 to 2005, 2006, I went to South Africa. So when I was asked to come, I was engaged by Standard Bank. Well, they invited me, the CEO for Africa, and I think that was the regional CE for West Africa. It's like, invited me for coffee. And we had coffee, Then I was working in, Barclays had just taken over APSA. So we had moved from our offices in uptown Sandton to the city. And I was in a street called Anderson. So, I was invited over to Simon Street, where Standard Bank has their head office buildings. And we had coffee, and then they told me, they wanted me to, consider joining Standard Bank. I was quite enthusiastic because I thought it was something within the SADC region or within South Africa. But it didn't take long before they kind of told me they wanted to bring me back to Ghana. It was a bit of a shocker because,
I was getting used to the...
I knew what Stanbic was here then, probably just, at that time really, 2 branches and an agency, and I was Deputy Managing Director of Barclays and, could have actually come back, if I wanted to the Barclays job. But they said this is what they wanted. I reflected on it, and I was a bit taken aback, but they gave me the encouragement and actually shared with me the vision. For me, what drives me is vision. I need a compelling vision, that kind of just makes the juices flow and gives you the impetus to push ahead. So
it wasn't really about the challenge. Did you not feel too challenged? From what you're telling me, and that you knew the system or the terrain better there, and you knew how the bank here was. Did you not feel too challenged? Like too much of a big challenge that this was going to be for you to even surmount?
Well, yes, and the challenge was really where the excitement was. Because as I said, this was probably Africa's largest bank, but very unknown in Ghana. It was quite big. When I say Africa, the indigenous Africa, of course, Barclays was there, but drawing all their strength from the UK, Standard Chartered was there, but one of the big African banks at the time, and still today, is Standard Bank. So, and they were not very, present in Ghana. So yes, it was a challenge, but a challenge that I was very confident we could work together and deliver. And say what, I think we delivered it.
I have a few questions I'll ask you about the economy and how every one of us can get some tips and nuggets around how to handle our financial lives. But when we come back from the break, I'll pose that question to you and you give me an answer to that. I'm still here with Dr. Hassan Andani, and he's now the founder and executive chairman of LVS Africa. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is still the lowdown here on GhanaWeb TV. My guest is Dr. Hassan Andani. I was wondering just before we went on to the break, do you have hobbies?
Oh,
You're a busy man.
I have hobbies. I love to read.
Okay.
I used to play golf until I had a very bad shoulder. But yeah, and I love football. I watch football.
What's your favorite? Arsenal?
Arsenal is my club.
Well, people say Arsenal supporters are, what they say about them.
Well, I support Arsenal, so I want to practice patience.
Well, that's what every Arsenal fan will tell you. That
when we are winning, we are patient. When we are losing, we are patient. But we are always in the top. So
that's interesting. I see.
We're never out of the top.
I see. But have you played soccer yourself?
I played football when I was a younger.
Okay.
When I was my younger, yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Food, any favorites? What's your best meal?
Oh I'm a Dagomba man, so my toes are filled with dry okra soup would always be number one.
Wonderful. Now let's talk some other weightier matters. The economy is a big subject now. We're all talking about how bad or not the economy is, and people will tell you that depending on where you're sitting or from which side of the coin you are at, you would want to say either we're doing well or not. But I want us to glean from your experience. You have handled issues to do with the economy or money for so long, and you use strategies around that. You mentioned earlier how you like to work with a vision and all of those things. I want us to begin from there. First of all, what are some of the things that financial nuggets that you have driven your life that you think can be of help to just about anyone?
I think if we bring it down to basics, is liquidity and solvency. At all times, be sure that you're solvent, i.e. you're building a net asset position, or you're building assets and liabilities that gives you a net positive position which is under your control. That net positive, which is your net asset, is completely under your control. That's number one. Number two, at all times, whether you're a company, country, you've got to avail yourself adequate liquidity, because bankruptcy is not necessarily, sometimes when you just don't have the liquidity, you may have all the net assets, but you don't have the liquidity, you can be in trouble. So I would always say watch that. And of course, it comes back basically to just how much you earn and how much you spend. That's entirely your discretion. What you earn and what you spend is entirely your discretion. Again, whether it's at the personal level, the corporate level, or the national level. To spend more than you earn is just a recipe for disaster anytime.
Is that how people can reduce, for instance, things like debt?
Yes, so debts are not necessarily bad, and I mean, for a banker like me, debt is my stock in trade. But I always make sure that the debt you take is value accretive. You take 100 CDs in debt and you can generate 200. Pay me back my 120 CDs in profit and then we keep rolling. So it's about being focused with debt and taking it to solve problems that are value accretive. What I mean is generating your return over and above the cost that you have put into it.
When I asked you earlier about how or what launched you into the field you're in, you mentioned how it was something you're looking forward to. It seems like today, I'm talking about generations from my age below. A lot of people don't seem to really know where they are driving towards. There's a lot of internet sensation. People are doing one or two things like that. But when it comes to professional careers, seems to be a little gap in there. You're a father, I'm sure maybe your grandfather.
Yes.
What have you identified as some of the things that are holding back from the younger generations, maybe pursuing things that are lifelong?
Well, look, if I look back, I always say that for me, wealth starts with having a great idea, which idea you can transform into some product or service for solutions targeted at clients that you can over time improve and continue to serve and give more and more customer satisfaction. That's it. But most of us, especially in our part of the world, go to school, just acquire basic stuff, come and start a career as an employee. Now, if the economy is expanding and many more people are creating those ideas and transforming those ideas into companies, then yes, there will be opportunities. But we haven't a growing section, of us just coming out as employees, looking for jobs that are non-existent. And that can be tough. And for me, what I haven't seen is really that expansion. If you look at all the growing economies, even let's go to Asia, where we literally started in terms of Ghana, where we started our independence and our economy with the likes of Singapore, Malaysia, and all of that. If you look at the number of companies, viable companies that has been set up in those parts of the world compared to what we have here, clearly it will tell you that they've set up more, bigger, not just global companies, so they're able to spread their people, and even global companies come into their own country, so there are opportunities. So yes, it's about the structure of the economy, which is very, very important, that we should create more productive units rather than more consumption units. We have a lot more consumption units, whether it's our governments that are just consuming or households that are just consuming. And then what comes to us naturally is agriculture, which is also not very well organized. It's still very peasant if you compare our agriculture in this part of the world to what pertains everywhere else. Whatever we do is not at the optimal levels, and that would have been the first engine to crank everything else. So I think, yes, people must get a little bit more focus on the fiscal side of the economy. What can we really do and trade internally and externally for a more sustainable income? More sustainable existence, and contribute, to the total output of goods and services, not just in Ghana, but across the world.
You studied a little of agric in school.
Yes.
Are we not exploring that area too much? Do you think that Ghana could have maybe gained so much more from the area of agriculture that we are not?
No, agriculture in Ghana is a joke. Agriculture in Ghana is a joke. If today, and I can challenge the poultry farmers, if I put poultry farmers together and say, I need 20,000 dressed birds a day, dressed 20,000 per day, I'm sure they will have a challenge. 20,000. Yes, we can have 10,000 birds at Christmas or Easter, but that's not how to do business. Every day people are eating, and birds must be there, or fish must be there, mutton must be there on consistent basis. Nobody is figuring out how much of it that we consume per day, per week, per month, and what kind of structure should we put in to produce that. We are all very seasonal. So we have not really, as it were, captured, or we have not really used technology and skills to cultivate agriculture in such a way that it serves our daily, weekly, monthly needs. We just follow the rain, and everybody, if the rain is good, we have a bumper harvest, poor storage. We have not even thought about how to preserve, and a lot of wastage. Then we go back into a lean season, then the rains come again. Whether it's crops, whether it's animals, whether it's tree crops, we leave everything to chance, and that's, and the evidence is there. We all saw the cultural development of China, the cultural development of places like Ukraine. They're not deep. They are not older than Ghana's economy. So it is just about focus. It's about putting the science and organization into production on a consistent basis. But there's a lot more talk around policy in agriculture than real action in agriculture. Yeah.
I see. Now, you've been in the bank, so maybe I can ask you this question. And just because you mentioned the poultry industry, for instance, there are people who talk about loans or investments, getting money to pump into their businesses like that. What would you say? Are there avenues enough for them, especially when it comes to the financial institutions, for people to get what they want, to be able to push into their businesses and to reap the needed benefits and then pay back? Because a lot of people complain about such things.
Yeah, I think what people do is just one piece of it, probably the cash part of it. No. But I say credit readiness. What is credit readiness? What have you done personally that any third party can trust you with resources? What have you done as an enterprise that in a third party, and think about credit worthiness, even yourself putting money into your own business, you are an outsider into that business. How has the company structured itself to be trusted to keep your money and return it? That's what people don't. And so as you say, an idea is just a beginning. Now you've got to translate the idea into product, and the product will have different lines to it. How do I organize it in such a way that I can produce it? Raw materials are consistent, my production is consistent, my pricing is, is kind of scalable, depending upon cost, and my clients can, in a very organized manner, in a repetitive manner. But most people just have an idea, they have not actually organized it into a proper, engine to be repetitive in what you do, and then they're rushing for cash. You're not credit worthy. You're not credit ready. Credit readiness is not just being able to go and dig up a few cassavas and come to the market. No. How do you ensure that that cassava you are digging up is going to be available over a long period of time, that your clients appreciate the quality and you know what they want, when they want it, in what quantities they want it? This is careful thinking. Everything that you do, you got to be very careful, methodical, and build it. But most people in this part of the world are a little bit more erratic. Sometimes they can even start very well, but just lose focus. And something that may have started as credit ready, suddenly, because you are not focused, you start to use company money as though it's your own pocket money to build houses, to buy cars, and then you are now richer than the company is collapsed, they come after you, and you've lost everything. And then we go all over again. So I agree that, money is just one element, or bank credit is one element, but credit readiness is the whole spectrum that we need to, let people understand how people get credit.
All right. What's your assessment of the banking sector today? You rose all the way to the top of even the association that overlooks banks in this country. What would you say is your assessment of the work of banks, whether they are indigenous or they are foreign-based banks?
Look, I would say that the banking in Ghana has been absolutely resilient, especially in the last 10 years. Banking has gone through a lot. We have gone through, all the asset quality reviews. We've gone through where some banks have actually either collapsed or have to be saved. We've gone through the most crunching of it is the domestic debt exchange program. Has really been, very tough for banks. Just keeping liquidity going, making sure that they stay solvent and still meeting customer needs. That's a very tough. And if I tell my colleagues, because we just slipped out before DDEP happened, so I tell my colleagues that they're having such a unique experience, that those of us who spend all of our lives, and I spent all of my life in banking, I joined in '84 and I left in 2004, 2020. It's a long period, so, but the experience of the current crop of leaders of the banks in the last 3-4 years has been phenomenal. And I think the industry has been very resilient. We just have to continue. And the first time we have actually seen a government default. Ghana government cannot pay its bills. And because it cannot pay its bill, and it's such a huge systemic element of the economy, companies that serve government cannot pay their bills. Investors who give money to government cannot serve their bill. And all of that washes back to the banks. All of that, whether it's a bank that cannot pay or a depositor who put his money in a bond that has not got the money, or a contractor who is taking money to all of that. The government's non-payments is in the books of the banks. The investors who put money in the bonds, their businesses in the bank, the company. So just imagine. So that's really the cooker plate on which everything is. And still, we have absolutely no problem in terms of meeting customer needs. I dove my heart for what I would call a very resilient industry, very resilient banking industry.
LVS Africa, what exactly does LVS Africa do?
I think LVS Africa is, just to answer the question I talk about credit worthiness or credit readiness, is to say, how do we create enduring enterprises? How do we create enduring enterprises that, I said, Standard Bank is today probably 160 plus years. It was started somewhere in South Africa, the Eastern Cape there, with very enthusiastic entrepreneurs. But they have survived for 160 years. Tell me, how many companies do you know in Ghana that have survived 160 years, or 100 years, or 50 years? And the last time I had a conference and I asked that question, it was only one hand that went up. Some family business that moved from father to son and now transitioning to grandparents and grandchildren. But what LVS Africa is about is just to let entrepreneurs understand the whole dynamics of building, giving life, independent life to what they call their own company or enterprise. Because I keep saying, enterprises are more enduring than human beings. Okay. You know, after 60 years, you retire. The enterprise is only just getting matured. Yeah. They can always get a better CEO, they can always get a better CFO, they can always get a better marketing director, a better HR. So as you evolve, so you can see the enterprise. But you, if you sat on it as the owner, after 80 years, really, can you keep things going? So you would, but enterprises don't die like that. So what is the trick in giving life to enterprises so that they can continue to serve? You know, and yeah, whether it's the Rockefellers, those companies are still alive. 7 great-great-grandchildren, 7 foundations, but the original founders are gone. How did they achieve it that Africa is not able to achieve it? So for me in LVS Africa, my big trust is to see and talk to entrepreneurs, work with them to see how we can put structures into their companies to isolate their lives or take their lives away from the life of the company and let them understand that that company will be there to serve their great-great-grandchildren long after they are gone. The companies have life. So LVS Africa is about focusing on the life of the company. We call the enterprise doctors. Okay. What is it that puts this company together so that it grows consistently?
Okay. Yeah. Of all your personal achievements, which one of them would you say is the one you're most proud of?
Well, I would say at least when I left work, I still had a family that was very loving. Okay. In spite of the time spent traveling and working, we still have a home, you know, where everybody feels belonging. That, for me, that's very important. That's very, on the family side, I think we managed to pull ourselves together. But in terms of corporate, I'd say one of my most significant is what me and my colleagues were able to build with Stanbic Bank. I mean, it's an achievement that all of us who've been there, you know, and are very proud of. You know, and just to say that this was not done by me singularly, I had a unique opportunity of being the leader, but I've worked with real great people, real great people, you know, in and outside of Ghana. You know, and yeah, so that's a huge thing that you can turn back and look at and say, for me, in terms of enterprise development, there's nothing that can take Standard Bank back. It can only go up and up.
All right. Yeah. Do you miss being at work like?
No, absolutely not. I keep telling people that I have never ever gotten up in the morning and felt. No, because my job was already solving problems. You know, dealing with client problems, dealing with staff problems, you know, whether it was balance sheet, income statement, it was just about solving problems. And therefore, for me, it hasn't changed. Every day I get up, it's one problem on that, and I'm quite positive. So I like to go out and solve problems. So I haven't missed that kind of routine. I call the bank more routine, but now it's less routine, but very rigorous, which I'm enjoying.
And I'm most grateful. Thank you for sharing all these nuggets with us and at least giving us some insights into your personal life. We hope that some of these things get out there and people can use these things to shape in their lives. But thank you.
Thank you
for speaking to us here on GhanaWeb TV.
So
that's been our guest, now Dr. Hassan Andani. He is currently the founder and executive chairman of LVS Africa. I mean, for many years he was at Stanbic Bank. We know the many laurels that he chalked there. Thank you for joining us on the lowdown here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Echi Atiso. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look for GhanaWeb TV. Subscribe, like, and also click on the notification button so that you're notified the next time we put up a video. Until another time, be kind to another.
snack to munch on during a fun moment.
Wow.
Enjoy the tasty berry twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy. Oh.
McBerry Twist Cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
I want you so bad, alpha cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, alpha cracker. I want you so bad, alpha cracker.
Don't me call one casa.
Have a goodness rich in milk and butter in Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sweetheart, be mindful of your health. Dear products Nadia Makeup, I welcome you to Sigma Health and Beauty. You can call us the Beauty Embassy. We pursue beauty more revealed with quality makeup products. There is only one place. The Sigma Health and Beauty 2022 Ghana Makeup Awards Beauty Retail Business of the Year. Of course, we are the defending champions. World-class makeup brands and Kwanyet on, you name it. Maybelline, Dark and Lovely, House of Tara, and many more. Your professionalism in the beauty industry is unmatchable. Ensure the proper way of applying our products. Sigma Health and Beauty, Yewa Accra, Makola, Georgina Stores, and Rollins Park, Gate 4. Fryer in 0248 138 596 and 0201 408 186. Or visit our online shop at www.beautyavenuegh.com. Sigma, your beauty, our joy.
GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the Organ Donation Legislation 2007. That was Ghana Police Service in
The sad reality is that today our democracy as a country is threatened.
Words of affirmation or love language comes to urge us on.
When this bill is passed, more lives will be saved, and the financial fair.
Before the approval of the 3 billion IMF facility, Ghana was required to increase water and electricity bills periodically. So far, these increments have taken place, but how are Ghanaians really coping? What are the effects on the ordinary Ghanaians? Today we take to the streets to ask Ghanaians how they are faring with the increase on electricity and water bills. My name is Stella J. Sogli for BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. Before the ECG new biometric meter came, how much were you usually paying for electricity bill?
A month, I think I was paying from 80 cedis to 120 cedis.
That's postpaid?
Postpaid, yeah.
Okay, so now for prepaid, how much do you buy?
Prepaid, I buy the same amount, normally 150. It takes me more than a month before it gets finished. Because normally I'm not at home. I'm home mainly on Saturdays and Sundays. But it's the only fridge that is always on.
Okay, so comparing both the postpaid and the prepaid, which one do you think is better?
I think the prepaid, and I can monitor my electricity usage and curb wastage. But postpaid, I don't monitor. I know that maybe I'll have light throughout. Light doesn't go off unless maybe it's light out. But for the prepaid, when your money finishes, your lights go out. So normally, I'm careful what I do what I don't put on when I'm not by as a fan of iron. So I iron now bulk to avoid using it more than enough.
So how about water? Have you seen any increase in how much you used to pay for water?
For our house, we used to pay 220 for water a month. By now, we are paying 240, 260. Yeah, and the water doesn't flow regularly as first. That's once a week or twice. The most is thrice a week. Yeah.
So even though your water doesn't come, your water bill comes every month.
Oh, it comes. Yeah.
I have a prepaid in my house, so sometimes if I bought 100, it takes me about 3 weeks. But right now, if I buy 100, I almost even doesn't catch me 2 weeks.
Is it a new meter or the old one?
The old meter prepaid. That's why I'm using.
How about water bill too? Has it increased?
For water bill, I bought water. I don't have water in my house, so I bought water. A gallon is 50 pesos. Kufo gallon, 50 pesos. That's why. So that one I don't feel it.
So now that electricity and water bills have increased, how are you coping?
Oh, by the way, you are managing it. We are managing it like that. So we just to appeal the government that it should look at it for us.
How is business?
Oh, that's what business is, as we know. Business is normal. Today if you come, you gain. Tomorrow you lose. that's our this work.
Okay. These days they've been increasing. They've been reducing fuel prices for some time now.
I mean, yesterday they have increased the fuel again.
Yes, but yesterday they increased it.
They increased the fuel again. Yes. So you can say that today they will increase, tomorrow they will decrease, tomorrow they will increase. So we are inside.
Okay, so for the past 10 months of the year, has your consumption of electricity increased in any form?
Yeah.
Okay, how about water?
The same thing.
Okay, so can you give us a description of how much you used to buy last year and how much you buy now?
Yeah, last year I used to buy like 100 cedis within a month, but as for now, you can even buy 200 cedis. It will not be enough for you.
For 1 month?
Yeah.
How about water?
Water too, they have increased it. Compared to last year, the water rate have increased.
Okay, so how much do you pay for water now?
Last month I used to pay 150, but as for now, we are paying like 250 a month.
Okay, so have you gotten some of the biometric meters from the AC?
No, that one I have not checked.
So what do you think about it when it comes? Will you be will you agree to take it?
Yeah, if it can only help.
Lad Beno, first in an almost message old meter. Any day a cockrana, a be a base now, phone a light now. It will be bare 2 months. Say, see almost a sign I want for a buy. Okota, be a 1 month crown, a new be able to be out with 100 Ghana. And I say 200 so and check my CBA. Now what you be now 1 month, a quantum. It is a meme from Mudia. In Casa meter now, or better old normal sign. Ni no mo dia ba no enya papa so koto credit say ya enu anwumere no wo use fridge wo abi a 1 bob and fine ye buy so sika 100 Ghana na 50 cedi 50 cedi no de be ma no me solam station me meko fie no na light na yeden asa no mo di bonus na yeden agusu bonus no o na ma de enche na bonus no so yeden nti sa old new meter na mo dia ba de moye enka old ru kwa ye chen new na mo dia yeden.
So what she's saying is that she doesn't prefer the new biometric ECG meter to the old one. According to her, the old one was quite better than this one because now when they buy prepaid, it doesn't take long, like 2 weeks, then it's done. Or sometimes even by the close of day, then the light is finished. So if it was left to just here, the old meter is better than the new one.
Oh, they all my 2 minutes there. Kayon could uncommonted in a mouse. Say, never wouldn't hide din or Ghana, ma'am. Yezu, Fizabrabono. I'm crying to a walk school, so or Marco feeling been to a sober horse, so I cry. Brabons my identity. Come good uncommonted in a mouse in a day. Am I any sooner like B7 now? omodete so my
The first na light motors and say motors.
First now to 50 cities and then chepa I say pa there okwa ekra 50 cities no enkosa prepaid no we 50 cities and me va twa do bia na water no so say omuza rutum ya tonzo ba still na omututu nso ri musa no so high pa
And months water bill.
Water bill yes I in the to like Ghana water by you could buy to ubugaro my 3 cities so garon ba ku 3 cities so as a man say cost rosa first na garon na 2 cities na 1 city say do 3 cities ni na mo hwe my omutete so my.
Basically what he is saying is that they used to buy electricity for like 50 cedis and it could take them like 2 weeks or about a month, but now even 50 cedis doesn't last them long as it lasts them earlier, and they don't get water from Ghana Water Company all the time, but when the water bills come they are expensive, and even where the water comes and they go to fetch, 1 gallon is about 3 cedis, which is very, very, very expensive for them.
Water bill me large bed there. Me used to prepaid. Last year and this year there, since when they be home. A boom, say first no, na me to 50 cities. Met my use be 3 weeks go 1 month. This year me to 50 now. Me use 1 week. And a water bill no so in so na say ma, and so you bill no, then so no ma. Nti I know the enzo de nyakura enzo ne enye be na kata nyame nko na metua nipa be say 4 eni tua wa be ni de etutu sisi etutu be mo ba ya be ba 4 me so me ba no na akwa ni times 2 na enzo na amanti no kutua na ye ko ko bisa no nti no ano de ntutu yan no bibia nko ye madam ni na itia wa bibia no ko ye mai. According
to him, electricity and water bills have increased astronomically. He says at first he could buy 50 cedis and that will take him about 3 weeks, but now 50 cedis doesn't even last him up to 1 week, or sometimes just in a week. Then the electricity goes off. Even water, the water doesn't flow, but they still have to pay water bills, and that has become quite a challenge for him. On the whole, he says that life is currently not easy for him as a Ghanaian. From the concerns that have been gathered so far, it is quite obvious that electricity and water bills have become quite expensive here in Ghana today. Many of the people that we've spoken to have also said that life in general is not easy as prices of goods and services keep increasing. My name is Stella J. Jamsogli for BizTech on GhanaWeb TV.
Actually wore my first slippers when I went to secondary school. When you are going to primary school, then you can have some shorts around your waist. But bare-chested running around, throwing stones and climbing trees. Yeah, so that was my youth.
What's your best meal?
Oh my, I'm a Dagomba man, so my toes are filled with dry okra soup would always be number one.
Do you remember the meeting you had that led you to Stambek?
You know, I was invited over to...
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment. Wow. Enjoy the tasty berry twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk. Yummy. Oh, McBerry Twist Cupcakes. Simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
I want you so bad, Alpha Cracker. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, Alpha Cracker. I want you so bad, Alpha Cracker.
I don't make one kasa.
Have a goodness rich in milk and butter in Alpha Cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Over 15,000 people in Ghana are believed to suffer from kidney disorders, which require dialysis treatment. Kidney disorders of any form are quite serious because they affect the function of the kidney, which includes the cleaning of the blood so that a person's organs will function effectively. In effect, having a kidney disorder means that you'll not be able to live life as usual. Sometimes you may not be able to even work to earn a living. GhanaWeb, as part of its organ donation campaign, will be speaking to a kidney disorder patient who was diagnosed of kidney failure at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. His name is Michael Asanti. He will be telling us about his life before he got diagnosed with kidney disorder and his life after that. This is Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV, and I'm your host, Ishmael Batuma. Hello, Michael. Thanks so much for welcoming us to your home and for doing this interview. So we'll begin our conversation by looking at your life before you were diagnosed of kidney failure. Well, what was life like for you?
Life before the diagnosis was, I would say, normal because I was a young guy. I just started life. I just found a job on a contract basis. I thought I would pursue certain dreams. I would pursue certain. I didn't know I expect this would happen, but things were, I don't know how to say, were quite different before this. Energetic, full of energy, happy. I was about to begin life, but sadly I met this condition and I really didn't know what to do after when I was diagnosed with it.
So when were you diagnosed of kidney failure, and what event transpired before that?
Oh, it all happened in the year 2017 in the month of May. But the thing was, I think it started showing signs earlier, but I didn't know that these signs were the cause of the kidney, because it came in as, it started as headaches, and I was taking in painkillers to try and resolve it. But one day I reported to work and things weren't that easy for me, so I was forced to rush to the hospital. That was when I was admitted, and after 3 days I was diagnosed with a kidney problem. What shall I say again? It happened, I think it was around May 17th May, on my birthday, when I was diagnosed with it. On my birthday, that was when I was diagnosed with it.
So how are you feeling when the doctor was explaining this to you, that you have kidney failure?
Initially, I didn't respond. Initially, in fact, I was surprised when he said I had a kidney. I didn't know what it was at then, but later, as I came to understand it through the explanations and certain things I read on the internet, that was when I realized that the situation was really serious, and I don't know how to say it. I was depressed and saddened because at that time I had written an exam, the law entrance exams to one of the law schools in Ghana. It actually came by and they had called us for an interview. So I actually didn't know what to do at that time, and I was sad by what happened.
Okay. So did the doctor tell you what caused the kidney failure?
Initially, when I was admitted and they did the investigations, they realized that was when I realized that I was hypertensive. That was when they told me I was hypertensive, and the headaches I was experiencing was coming from these high BPs I was having. That was when I realized that was the cause of the problem.
So it has been 7 years, if my calculation is
7 years.
So how has life been like? What things can't you do now? How has it affected your eating, activities you used to do?
It has affected me a lot. Because initially, after I was diagnosed in 2017, I tried to work with it, but when I realized I couldn't, I was really struggling a lot. I think in the year 2021, okay, that year, fortunately for me, I resigned. I resigned in 2019 from the because of the challenges I was with. But in 2021, for instance, I suffered a stroke because of this condition, and I even went blind. It was the grace of God that saw me through it that I was able to recover. Eating, doing active things, trying all those things, I have to limit those stuffs. At the moment I'm at home, I had to come home because of the condition.
Okay, so are there things you can't eat now?
Yes, there are certain things I can't eat.
Can you name some of them? There are a lot.
There are a lot.
Wow.
There are a lot. There are a lot.
Okay. What about taking water? I hear
the water, not necessarily water. What we were told was the fluids. The fluids we have to take in. So they limited it to 500 ml bottle, the small size one, in a day. In a day, we have to control. That is including the water, whether we are taking soups, even fruits, drinks. We are supposed to take it that quantity within a day.
You mentioned resigning from your work.
Yes.
And writing the law entrance examination. So what work were you doing at that time?
Oh, I was with an insurance company. I was with their internal controls department.
Okay. At the same time going to law school?
Yes. When I was then working, then 2017, I wrote the exam for the law exams. That was when I was diagnosed with the condition. So in 2017, for instance, we were called for the interview, but unfortunately I was at the hospital, I couldn't go. So it was in 2019 again, I had to take the exams again. I was also working during that period, and I got admitted this time into the program, the law program. But I was forced to stop because in 2021 I had a stroke from the condition. The condition, there was too much stress on me, so I had a stroke. I decided to stop the program, and I also decided to resign from the work because the condition was too stressful.
Yes. How did it feel like when your dream of becoming a lawyer, you just decided to stop it?
I was really hurt because it wasn't something I don't know how to say, intended for it to happen. I was really disturbed about it. It really hurt me because I really had this dream to pursue that law program. So I was really hurt by that decision. It's like it was forced upon me to stop. I had to stop because the family came in and got involved and said that if I kept stressing myself, maybe the next time things could get out of hand. How I recovered from that stroke in 2021, I still don't know, but at the end I realized I had to stop the program and also resign from the job.
Oh, okay. So it was the stroke that led to you deciding to.
The stroke finally.
Wow. And when you decided to not pursue your law profession, did you have any alternative? Did you think of any alternative opportunity?
At the moment,
you can work with, given your condition. Did you get?
I tried looking for a job. I actually, because of the country, we had people who also colleagues. Some advised me to look at the government sector. I was trying my best to enter into the public sector, but I've not been able to get any. Because that was when I was informed that maybe they would tolerate or accommodate me with this, because it's not easy to work with this condition when you're in the private sector. Because they require a lot from us.
So with no work now, we know the cost of dialysis is very expensive. A session is almost 500 cedis, and you need like three to two sessions. That's the required amount of sessions you need. So in a week you need like 1,500 a month. That's like 6,000 cedis. How do you cope with the cost of the dialysis treatment?
It's not been easy. Mostly I had to depend on friends and family. I'll have to say most of the time I have to beg. So I have to call people and ask for help, support, wherever the support may come from, whatever amount may come. And sometimes I also get support, let's say, from my church members or church too. People come in when I call them to support me. That's how I've been managing the situation.
Okay, so how many sessions do you have in a week now? Like
at the moment, the advice is for me to do 3, but usually because of the financial cost involved, I do 2, and since they even close the unit down, I'm forced to do 1 session in a week, because I can't afford the amount the private dialysis centers are charging. 2 dialysis in a week, it's not easy. So I'm forced to do 1 session in a week. Usually I do it in the middle of the week so that I can stay or manage myself with it.
You are advised to take 3, but now you've been managing with 2, and recently you did just 1. So when you do that, are you able to live normally, or
no?
What are the effects?
With the 1, for instance, when I do the 1, I don't live a normal life, because usually I'm forced to stay indoors. 1 is not able to help me do whatever I'm supposed to do, because if I go out to try and stress myself, I'll find myself in trouble. Usually with the 1, when you do 1, you still have fluids within your body. You are not able to control yourself, and it's supposed to clear toxins. These toxins are not taken out with the 1. The 1 dialysis is not enough to clear the toxins. So what happens is that you still feel uncomfortable. You are not able to control. So I'm forced to stay indoors. Usually when I'm doing this 1 dialysis in a week. That's what happens.
Okay. And what happens if you don't have a session at all?
If I don't do the session there, it's very bad. I will not be even to conduct this interview. It's very bad. I can't even control myself. And let's say if I don't do it within 2 weeks, I'll be forced to go on admission.
So, like, what are some of the symptoms? Like, you don't feel like you can't breathe, or what are some of the symptoms?
When I don't do that, even with the 1 sessions, for instance, when even do you struggle to breathe, because there are still fluids within you, and there's the toxins. It makes you feel uncomfortable. For instance, sometimes there's this condition that may arise when you are not doing the dialysis, or even you are doing once a week. Sometimes there's this night I experience is called they call it gastritis. It's a very sharp pain within your tummy. You experience when you are not doing the dialysis adequately or effectively. Because when you are not doing, you are doing one session, the clearance, they say the clearance is not effective, it's not adequate enough. So you struggle to be, sometimes we get swollen feet or how should I say, our faces swell up, and we sometimes experience this sharp pain within the tummy, the gastritis. That's what we go through. So when you begin to experience these things, you'll be forced to go on admission at college. Usually I go on admission at college emergency.
Okay, so what does the dialysis machine, what does it do essentially? If you can do?
What I learned is that it performs certain functions of the kidney, especially with the clearance of fluids from the body system, from the blood, and the clearance of toxins from the blood system. When these things are not cleared from the system, it's where you begin to experience these kind of conditions of swelling foot or swelling face. You experience nausea, start to vomit. You become uncontrollable. You struggle to breathe because there's lots of fluids within the body system that needs to be cleared.
So it's because of the toxins in your blood, that's why these things happen.
The toxins in the blood,
so the machine will
clear,
them
filter
from
these things from the blood system.
Okay. You mentioned that for instances where you don't get a session, there are some effects. You have swollen feet and other effects. How do you manage them?
Usually, when there's no money, it's very difficult to. I'm forced to control what I take in, what I drink. Usually, and when it happens like that, I'm not able to eat because of the nausea and the vomiting, and I'm forced to control the fluid I take in. So sometimes in these conditions, when it happens, I'll be forced to lie on the couch. I have to bend down just to be able to breathe because I struggle to breathe. Then I have to bend down like that and stay there for some time. So let's say in the afternoon it calms down. But after that in the evening, usually when the weather is cold, I struggle to breathe. But when it's a bit hotter, then the breathing improves. Then I go and lie down on the couch and have to control the fluid intake. As in, I don't take in water and food, for instance. I'm not able to take in food because of the vomiting and the nausea.
When the weather is hot, you're uncomfortable?
When usually it's hot, for me, for instance, I prefer the hot weather. Usually when it's cold, when the weather gets cold, I'm not able to control myself, usually. So whenever I even go somewhere and the AC is on, I require, or I tell them to increase it so that the room gets a bit warm for me. I don't like the cold weather.
You don't like the cold
weather?
Okay. But some patients indicate that
I don't know about, but because I don't know about other patients, but what I do know is usually when we go in for dialysis, for instance, the AC, they usually switch the ACs on for the machines. Most of the patients will require them to increase the temperature because usually when it becomes cold easily and we start shivering.
So with this we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Safe Love on GhanaWeb TV. So Michael, we're on you being at the hospital. I want you to take us through some of the processes you go through. I see some things in your pen. If you can describe them to them.
Okay. There's usually when you are diagnosed with the condition, what they do is they need an access to the body system to draw the blood out. So what they do, they create these access points This is the AV, they call this one the AV fistula. A fistula. I think they join the vein and the artery together to create this access point. So what you see over here is a larger vein and a larger artery where they prick us so that they can draw the blood out into the blood lines. There are blood lines that are connected to the dialysis machine where it goes through the machine, then it is filtered. Then they bring it back into the body system through one of this. So let's say with these two access, there's the outlets. One is the outlet where the blood is taken out, and one is the inlets where the blood is brought back into the system.
Okay, so there are things fixed in your hand.
Okay, with this one, nothing is fixed in the hand. But what they do is they cut a part of the body. And I think they join the AV, the fistula to the artery to create this large. They say they are trying to create some larger vein and artery points. So these ones will be bigger than the normal vein and arteries we have in the blood system, so that they can able to break us and get the blood out of it.
Okay, but some patients do have some things fixed in their hand.
With that one, I think it has to do with there's another one, I forgot the name. They call it femoral or something. They use a catheter. Then they insert it into the body system. There's one, sometimes they do it at the neck, they call it the neckline. And there's sometimes they do it in the thigh. When you're admitted, I think the first one they do is the one on the thigh, where they insert the catheter into the body system and it brings out the blood and they pump it back into it. Or they put it at the neckline. Later, when you're about to be discharged, they take this one out and they fix one here in the neck. Then there's a mark over here, if you can see it. But the main mark is over here. When they fix the neckline, they fix it into the body system. Then they draw the blood out to filter it.
Okay. So you guys go through a lot. So at this stage, they are paying for it when they are doing the more they do something to make the pain go away.
I think they I've forgotten the name.
After the procedure, do you feel the pain?
After the procedure, you feel the pain. When they are doing it, there's a drug they use where you don't feel the pain. But after it, then you feel the pain.
Okay, so have you explored other means of treatment? You know that organ donation is one of the things that is coming up. Have you explored?
Yes. Actually, I would have liked to explore it, but the money is not there. And things even got worse. Last year, I tried raising funds for the transplant. I was advised by the doctors that the only way I could get healed or get better from this condition was the transplant, the kidney transplant. So what I tried to doing was to raise funds through the public. Unfortunately, since they closed the unit down last year, I was forced to use the funds for dialysis treatments because I wasn't getting any help. So that funds to us.
With the transplant, I think you have to find a donor first. Were you able to get it?
Yes, my brother volunteered. If one of my brothers volunteered, he would donate if I'm able to raise the funds. But,
so you have the donor, but you don't have the funds for the procedure?
I don't have the funds for the procedure. My brother said he would volunteer if I'm able to raise the funds, but I don't have the funds at the moment.
And how much do you recall the amount the procedure cost?
I think it was around 200,000. Because the amount they give us, I think $21,000. That was in the. So when I worked it in the UNC, it was around 200,000.
And the procedure will be done here in Ghana.
Will be done here in Ghana at Kolebu.
We've seen that you go through a lot, and you don't know. You need support from a lot of people. You've been calling people for help and stuff. Has it affected your relationship with your friends and families?
Generally, I'll say the family and friends have been supportive. they have been very supportive. Because if it weren't for them, I'll say I wouldn't be here by now. There have been situations when sometimes when I had been admitted at the hospital on an emergency, they would go out of their way to try and go and borrow money to support me. So I'll say, for me, it hasn't affected my relationship with the family, but they've been very supportive. I remember once I was admitted and I didn't have anything. It was my friends from my old school, my primary school in Texas, who came in to support me and help me. So I'll say they've been very, very, very supportive. Because I wouldn't be here by now if they weren't.
Okay, so now let's look at your close family relationship. You know, who do you stay with now?
Oh, currently, because of the country, I was forced to move back and live with my parents. So this place is my parents' place.
So your mom and dad are both?
Yeah, both are.
So they are the ones who mostly have to take you to the hospital?
Oh, I'll say, usually when I go, I have a younger brother too. He's the one who has been taking me. Then let's say they will come in later to have a look support.
Yes, this will take a very big toll on them.
This will take
a very big toll on them. Seeing
it has. My mother, for instance. In fact, both of them, my mom and dad, are currently, they are not even feeling well. They are not feeling well. My mother had to go to the hospital yesterday. It has a big toll on it.
So, I'm asking, taking care of you, I think it has some effects on them when they see you in your conditions. Have you seen them breaking down or something?
I don't know how to say it. I know they are hit about this condition, but sometimes they try to control themselves in it. But I can see that they are really worried about it. Because nobody expected this in their family. Nobody expected this in their family. They are really disturbed about it, but they try to control myself and try to look cheerful when I'm around so that I don't get depressed. But I can really tell from their reaction, they are really disturbed about this condition. It has a big toll on them. My mother in particular.
Michael, you're a member of the Renal Patients Association at Kolebu. I'm sure that's more like a second family for you.
Yes, it is. Yes. And I'll say...
What are some of the activities you engage in with them that helps you?
Oh, at the moment, what we usually do is that we are trying to get the public...
Not necessarily things you're trying to do to help with, like, I'm sure you're a family now, you check on each other.
We are a family, so we check on each other. We try to encourage each other, provide support for each other. Sometimes the financial issue, when it becomes a burden, we try contacting each other. We console each other when we hear a colleague has passed on or is not feeling. And we try to advocate and fight for certain things for our colleagues, our patients. That's what we do. But we are a family. We communicate and we try to. It's not easy being in this condition. It's not easy being in this condition. So that's where we find solace in as a group.
So we know the center is more of a place where you get to save your life. What do you feel anytime you hear the center being shut down?
I wouldn't like. We always said when we hear that the center has been closed and disturbed, because we know what we go through when the center is over. It's not easy going out to the private centers to do the dialysis because the cost involved is very high over there. There are some colleagues also now that I'm speaking to, some have not been able to dialyze, or some have been able to dialyze once. So whenever we hear the center is closed, we get disturbed.
In the last year, we've seen some people dying because the center has been closed down. And the center was closed down due to issues that could have easily been fixed. How do you feel about that? Hearing somebody dying because consumables have short.
Last year, for instance, what happened? I was hurt and I was really angry with them, with the Kolebu's center, how they treated the whole issue. Because I thought these things could have been avoided. And there was a period where we were even asking them, advocating, if they wanted us to even pay, they should communicate to us so that we pay. But there was no response from them. But at the end, 18 people had to die. Even this year, when we got informed that 3 people had passed on, we were really hurt because there was a period when we were asking them what was the issue. There was no communication coming from their side. The only communication that came in was after the thing had got to the media and it became clear that they had closed the center. So I was really angry and sad that this the way they choose to treat us. So I don't know for other colleagues, but for me, I was really angry and sad for the way they treated the whole matter. They had the option to communicate to us that this was what was going on, and we can even prepare for it, but there was no. So usually when it's closed like this and you are not communicating, some people will say, oh, since they are not communicating, it will be something short to do. So people will be forced to say, let's wait, Kolebu will open. And the person will be there waiting, and at the end, sometimes these are the results that come happen. There's no response from their side.
We earlier spoke about the higher cost of your treatment, and the government announced some measures to support dialysis patients at the various centers. Have you benefited from them?
As announced, I don't know, but we haven't benefited from, let's say, the government offered. I fall within the 1959 age brackets. We haven't benefited from anything at Kolebu. We have been paying. The only time we benefited was when, fortunately for us, a private, I think, a journalist, Nana Banama, offered to support us. She paid for some of the dialysis, but we haven't benefited from anything from the government side. The NHI is paying 2 free sessions. We haven't
You haven't gotten any of the sessions yet? Since it was announced, I think, in July or so?
Yes, that's been no benefits.
And then the recent closure was due to shortage of
the consumables. That's what we learned.
The consumer. So who was supposed to get the consumer? Is it the management of the hospital or the government that was supposed to supply it?
I don't know, but what we know, since the hospital is the one providing the services, we assume they are the ones supposed to provide these consumables.
Have you personally lost a close relation due to dialysis? Not getting dialysis, or somebody who has been getting treatment but all of a sudden it got worse and died because of his kidney issue?
Sorry. Okay. Please, can you repeat the question again?
So, I asked a close relation you've lost who was a kidney patient like you at the dialysis center at Kolebu.
Yeah, there was a friend like that.
So how did you feel hearing your friend passing away?
When I heard it, I was hurt. It was a good friend. He used to motivate me and encourage me. So when I heard he had passed away, I was really hurt by it. It was a good friend.
So he was someone who motivated you. So now, personally, how do you motivate yourself? Do you have more friends now?
It's not easy. But I'll say it's made me more of a strong Christian, so I'm currently not working, so it's not easy being at home. Usually have this condition you'll be thinking about. So I've got involved in church activities, prayers, so that I can get more people around. I get more, I'll say more of the word of God, so that as they speak and preach and encourage me, I'm able to, how should I say, forget about these things and rather focus on what is going on. So I'll say, well, I usually motivate myself with the word of God. That's what I do.
We've seen how expensive your treatment is. We've seen the challenges you go through. You have someone who has volunteered to offer kidneys. The challenge now is funding for the surgery. GhanaWeb is currently running a campaign to push for legislations to make organ donation transparent and legal in Ghana. What will you say about this? Are you in support of it? And what laws do you expect to be part of this legislation?
I'll really support it. I'll really support it, and I encourage the government to get involved. Actually, I've heard about it. I think I've read it on the website before, and I'll also say that I was only disappointed that all this while the government has not been able to pass this legislature, because we really need it. People are really suffering with these organ failures. Since I got diagnosed, I think 2017, I was expecting it to be having passed, but most of the time I've been following that story. It has not been passed still. So I'll really encourage the government, the experts, those handling it, to push it through quickly. Because when we are diagnosed with this condition, most of the time we are advised to go in for the organ transplantation. And what I also learned is in other jurisdictions, like in Europe and in America, these things have been handled well, and there's a procedure and a process to which you can even access it. Right now in Ghana, it's not like that. It's not like that.
So I don't mean to cut you, but so it means that the doctors advise that you have transplant. It means you can have it in Ghana.
Yeah, we can have it in Ghana.
Just that there are no procedures to support it.
Yes, there are no procedures. We learned that. What I learned was that in US, I think there's a program or something. So when someone's kidney is available, they contact whoever is ready, then he has it. But over here, you have to go out there to look for the person to provide his or her kidneys before the arrangement or the process that can be done. But over there, there's a procedure as to how you can even get it, how the kidneys can be made available to you. But here it's not like that. And the problem is, for instance, since I was diagnosed with this in 2010, I've been following this storyline, and I'm really surprised that up to now, no legislation still happening. Because anytime you hear that, oh, they are preparing it, but nothing like that has been passed. And even I was even surprised that since last year when they closed it down and the topic came up, still nothing has been done about it. We are about to end this year and they haven't worked anything out.
So even if the legislation is passed, you will still need money for the surgery, right?
You still need money for the surgery.
So in the long term, aside including dialysis treatment to the NHIS, do you think the cost of transplant should be also considered?
It has to be considered. For me, I wish, and I will be very happy the government gets involved in everything that's going with the kidney failure and the organ transplant. If the government can involve and subsidize the prices for us, find a way to get the NHIS to step in to subsidize the price. If the government can get involved to reduce taxes, or if possible not to tax certain products and services that has to do with the transplantation or the dialysis process, we would be very happy, because the cost involved is it's too much, my brother. It's too much. Most of us, the patients, even me, I don't know how to say it. We find ourselves in a situation where, with this condition, we are not even able to work. It's not easy to work with this condition. And when we come back, we have to pay for this, and the toll is even putting on those who are supporting and taking care of us. It's not easy. It's not easy. We really will be happy if the government can get involved for us.
Okay. If there's anyone out there to support you, is there any way the person will get in touch with you?
Yes, the person can get in touch through my mobile number. Let's say 054-103-9243. Or if you want to support me, there's also a bank account number. You could make a contribution to it. I actually made some flyers out to try and raise funds for the transplant. I was made to create an account number at the GCB Bank, Dansuman branch. The account number is 1461 0100852788. Or if preferred, to make things easier, there's a mobile number 054-103-9243. If you prefer to use a Momo too, you can also make a contribution through that number. There's a flyer.
Thanks so much for welcoming us here home. Viewers, we pray that we'll all support our brother. These are details of his account. We'll share them in this story so that you can get in touch with him to help him. With this, we'll wrap up this edition of Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. We pray that the government will put in the necessary measures to give all dialysis patients the support they need. And we also pray that our organ donation campaign will yield fruit. Thank you for watching.
When we were in school, it wasn't like that. When you don't come to school, you are even trying to hide from your teacher. How much more coming to stand in front of your teacher
and say you
beat him
and even beating him?
Yes. Wow. It was paining me that children I have sacrificed my life to teach. They are the people who stood against me. I've met a lot of people, medical personnel, security personnel, who were asking me, why didn't you allow them to cheat so that you'll be free? And I said, well, I am a Christian and my biblical principle doesn't allow me to do that. The students, I want them to understand that we don't hate them. You can't say I hate you because I didn't allow you to cheat. You are not supposed to cheat in the exam room. You are supposed to learn, come and sit down and write whatever that you have learned. And my colleagues, they have to be careful. Very, very careful. They have to be very careful with the students. It doesn't matter whether the student is in Form 1, Form 2 or Form 3. Any student at all can be dangerous.
We are waiting for a new ball, please. We are not waiting. We are waiting for a new ball. At the start of this whole exercise, party brothers, you subjected your ball subjected your ball to scrutiny by party or concerns raised by the MPs. They examine the ball in its type, nature, character, and weight. APC, this day. LPG, this day. New Patriotic Party starts here and they allow it. Dr. Mahamudu is really concerned about not knowing where the ball that is objective to came from. We were all here when the balls were opened, numbers were slotted in, closed, and put into a bowl for party to come and select. The establishment of the GhanaWeb is indicting all of us that we don't be detailed, we've been shallow, and we are here supporting bias. That is not the position of the new Patriotic Party. You've gone through the first round of picking numbers, indicate the order of picking to be on the ballot. We appreciate transparency, fairness, professionalism. We will not sit here for his own judgment to be used as the rules of the game. At this point, the new Patriotic Party submit that the ball that has been contested should be taken out and others added so that we have the 9 sets of balls to go through this exercise and complete peacefully. I think that we can entertain a lot, and at this stage, the process must be allowed. This is the position of the new Yes, I am very surprised. I do not know why we have to really come to this stage. Because these balls were in the bowl that was handed to the NBC, the General Secretary, 1520. They spent all over 7 minutes. No, I'm coming. They spent over 7 minutes examining balls. He was not able to fix any ball out. We are all here. There is no difference between the ball we're talking about and the other ball. But we are just letting it go because if we don't want to act like we don't want to accept what he's saying. We are just letting it go. Now we take out the ball. That, for me, I wouldn't have allowed that. But for the sake of peace, we allowed it to go. They have taken out the ball. Why is it saying something? Was he not the same person who agreed that the balls were okay? Yes. So I am surprised. Dr. Hassan Ayariga and his General Secretary on the fire also took the balls and then they did what they had to do with it and they said everything was okay. Which means so what is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia I think he has a strategy of laying every process that is supposed to move forward for us to go Sunday.
That's where problems I talk about the weights are different, or maybe certain other characteristics of it is different. All what is recognized must be uniform. But this is a manual account. Anything mistake, you can't have a bias around it. Okay, so how is that? So let's The media, please, the media, can you step back so that the candidates will have. Okay, please. And this is the color that we are using. Number from 5 to 9. So, come and endorse at the back.
From the beginning.
These are the course so we can examine them.
Are you calculating the time?
Please, all the numbers.
position. Then I have
Okay. See, they want to put the camera inside. Oh, sorry.
The one who uses
can't use it. See.
Hello. The commissioner said, as a commission, we are proud of face on anything. We want to ensure fairness at all levels. Yes, it can be one or two people who are causing issues. The commission has decided that for the avoidance of doubt, we will pull them, keep them here, and keep them in an opaque quality back for you to pick without being able to pick and put it in the
and I'm picking on his behalf, and I cannot look at what I'm picking.
Please, we'll put it here. Please, we'll put it in the bag, keep them here. You come and then you pick what you want to pick. Please.
I think that what we can do now is that these people, let's get an independent.
Yes, that is it.
Let's get an independent and put them in the box. A media. If you're watching international ballot, your hand goes without a big one. You don't know. But the moment your eyes can see and the difference, you'll be able to look for the one you That is it. That is it. That's what we're looking for. And what Dr. Ayariga said about independent decision, to ensure that since there is doubt all over, let's wait.
When we were in school, it wasn't like that. When you don't come to school, you are even trying to hide from your teacher. How much more coming to stand in front of your teacher
and say
you beat him
and even beating him?
Yes. Wow. It was paining me that children I have sacrificed my life to teach. They are the people who stood against me. I've met a lot of people, medical personnel, security personnel, who were asking me, why didn't you allow them to cheat so that you'll be free? And I said, well, I am a Christian and my biblical principle doesn't allow me to do that. The students, I want them to understand that we don't hate them. You can't say I hate you because I didn't allow you to cheat. You are not supposed to cheat.
Balloting is that, but the convention has been that there's a first phase of balloting which determines the order of placement. That has been explained. So that has been from the first moment this process starts. The first concerns were raised by my brother. Please, we all appreciated it. We are coming to we spent almost an hour debating on whether the laws are unique or not. But I would have re-emphasized the point that the laws were examined in their nature, character, weight, and force. Please, at this point, if you want an independent person to come and fold, the numbers need to fall. I really don't have any to fall. I will nominate Madam Dankwa, but I will not do that. You know, I will not do that. This is a electoral commission. You've invited here for an exercise, and you are not bold to say that this is what we are doing. Is that what we are doing here? I'm sorry.
Please, to move forward, I would suggest that we put everything in that plastic. Put your pick whatever you have. The debate that you are going through. Then also
before you go, Doc, your initial group, which was? Please. Your initial group, you pick the ball. You pick the ball and you open, so you get your number and you show it to the public. I think that's all the problem we are having. Because when they use the social pick, you pick number 1, it's order of ballot for the second. And it's waiting all the convention have been said. We've never departed from it. Please, I'm saying that where you examine the board, you do not see anything until they leave the Patriotic Party number 1. The balls were in the bowl, in a transparent bowl. Now you prefer an opaque quality man. The new Patriotic Party will not be part of that. Will not be part of that. Afraid. It's not part of me. Why is that you filming me? Hello? Are you a media person? Why are you videoing me? And that is transparent.
He's the bodyguard.
Hello, we need to make progress.
Dr. Ayariga, please you bring your bodyguard in. Did they allow you? No, why you allow you? And that's fair. That's transparency. It amounts to transparency.
Please.
It amounts to
Please. Thank you. So we are proceeding. Thank you very much. We are moving on to the second stage. The positions, tickets for the position you have endorsed is endorsed. 3, the back is endorsed. 4, the back is endorsed. 5, the back is endorsed. 6, the back. 7, the back is endorsed. 8, the back is endorsed. 9, the back is endorsed. We are going to fold them and keep them in this box. Okay.
This thing, you know, go feel, you know, make it be like this. The way it did, if you get like that, you make it catch it. You hit somebody.
That's why young people like us are here. This is not in the future of our
You call yourself young. That's why you guys will be an old man. Okay.
What is simply means is that there's a time, there's a need for change. And so these two parties are really cycled and given to a woman. Women, but let's fight about balls, simple balls. Balls have already been examined. Balls have already been examined.
Hello?
Oh. You might near there. You might near there. Minister Ghana. I'm going to remove your mind. You should come to this side. Okay.
Please, Commission has decided that we put them in this. You come and take. Then we move. I want to go over the order again. NPP number 1, APC number 2, Book number 3, NDP 4, GFP 5, GCPP 6, NDC 7, LPG 8, and CPP 9. So we call upon the rep of NPP to come and pick one of the boards.
Let everybody please. Please. The director of elections moderating me. Please sit down.
Number 2, APC. Number GFP number 5. Number 6, GCPP. Number 7, NDC. Number 8, LPG. Number 9, CPP. Okay. You can now open your box. You can now open your box, please. MPP. What do you pick? What do you pick? Can you show it to the camera?
Show it. You Patriotic number 1.
Number 1.
When we were in school, it wasn't like that. When you don't come to school, you are even trying to hide from your teacher. How much more coming to stand in front of your teacher
and say
you beat him
and even beating him?
Yes. Wow. It was paining me that children I have sacrificed my life to teach. They are the people who stood against me. I've met a lot of people, medical personnel, security personnel, who were asking me, why didn't you allow them to cheat so that you'll be free? And I said, well, I am a Christian and my biblical principle doesn't allow me to do that. The students, I want them to understand that we don't hate them. You can't say I hate you because I didn't allow you to cheat. You are not supposed to cheat in the exam room. You are supposed to learn, come and sit down and write whatever that you have learned. And my colleagues, they have to be careful. Very, very careful. They have to be very careful with the students. It doesn't matter whether the student is in Form 1, Form 2 or Form 3. Any student at all can be dangerous.